everybody, it's Cheryl. I just wanted to take a few minutes today and show you a quick video on how I count my stitches. I've had several questions and several requests for that, so I thought I'd just do a quick video. It's very simple, so I hope this helps you out. I found and printed this little freebie chart from Simply Modern. I will link the chart below if you're interested in it. But what I did was I printed this out just to show you how I do it. I'm not currently stitching this, but I just wanted to show you. Now, on my Q-snaps, what I do is I take my needle minder and I fold my working copy to expose the piece that I'm actually stitching and stick it on actually on the fabric with a my needle minder. I'll stitch, say I'll stitch this entire leaf right here. Then I'll take my highlighter and I'll highlight each block and count them. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Now you can stop at 4, you can do 4 at a time, you can do 3 at a time, you can do 2 at a time if you want. But what I do is I usually count up a section like that. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So that's 14 stitches. And then I'll go to my calculator at 14. Now, I use the calculator if I'm only stitching 50 or 100 stitches. I'm only doing my daily 30. I'll just add up when I'm done. And that's when I count them up. If I'm working on 500 stitches and I know it's going to take a while, let me show you what I do for that. This is actually the counter that I have on my phone. I'm using my phone right now, so I have to use my computer. Luckily, I have a Google Chrome. Well, not luckily, I don't like it. But anyway, it worked out for this video. This is actually the counter that I use when I'm stitching more than a few stitches at a time. Now, we counted up 14 on that little apple, so I will just do that. And I don't count up more than, say, 20. It makes a very good clicking sound. I don't even have to watch it. I'll just click that add button and just count the clicks. And then I'll highlight more that I've stitched and I add them to the counter. And I keep a running total like that. And then when I'm finished with my challenge, I'm finished meeting the goal of the challenge, I just go back to the counter. You can click reset here. It'll take the counter back to 0. You can also, on this app, I'm not sure about other apps, but on this app you can click counter settings and you can name it based on your whips. And you can have, I don't know how many you can have, but I have probably 4 or 5 that I use. Let's do that. Let's say this was apple. Okay. And something else about this app too, when you don't want to use your volume buttons, so always, unclick those. So that's apple. And anytime I work on apple, like for my BAPs, I'll name them and then I'll use the same counter every time I use it. Now, what you can do with this one as well, let me see if I can figure out how I did it, because you can add a counter. It'll give you another one. Say BAP. And okay, now you've got one named for this whip. If you click here, you can see that you have all of your counters right here. So it's called Click Counter and it's on Android. I don't know if it's on iOS or not. I'm not really sure because, like I said, I use Android, so that's the counter that I use. There are lots of them out there. If this one in particular is not on Apple, then you can definitely find one that is. Okay, the next step that I take is I go to my brand spanking new notebook. Don't you love a brand spanking new notebook? And I put down my tracking. This will have the projects that I stitch for the week, and each day when I finish stitching on that project for the day, I'll put down my stitch count that I finished for that day. Home of a Needleworker is my new daily 30, so I only stitch on it for 30 minutes a day. And I put down how many stitches I finish every day here. Now, this one I just started, so in Elizabeth, I've got like 222 stitches in already, but I'm not finished with her. My goal is 500 for her for a challenge. So I won't plug in the number here until either the week is over and I'm ready to do my FlossTube video, or I get to my goal. Okay. So here is one from the end of December to show you what I'm talking about. For this week, I only worked on map and my Noel ornament. So I put in 868 stitches and 198 stitches in those, totaled them up over here, and that's the week that I did FlossTube 82. Then FlossTube 83, I came down and put in my number for Oz because that was a focus on a finish there, and then the mouse that I worked on. So then I totaled them up, and these will go into my Stitch My Hours spreadsheet. And I just put a little check mark there beside the numbers once I log them into the spreadsheet, so I'll know they're already in there. So that's how I track my stitches in my little notebook, because that helps me track where my pieces are in my floss tubes if I want to go back and refer to that. And it, tells me my progress on a weekly basis. The final step is to put everything in my planner. And when I'm done for a project is when I will log it in my planner. So what I've done for 2020 is I've made my planner pages. I wrote down all of the whips that are carried over from 2019. These are all of my Darktober stitches, starts. This I made for my 2020 new starts. I just like doing it on paper. I'm not really into spreadsheets and digital. I like having it on paper. So this is my new starts. I'm tracking what the project is, what day it was started, what day it was finished. And then in my little notebook, when I'm finished with Home of a Needleworker, I'll go back, add up all the stitches that I put into that project and plug that number here. And at the end of the year, I'll be able to tell how many stitches I have in my new starts projects. I also made one for my whips that I brought over. I put all the whips down. I put all of the 2019 stitches that I did in those whips. I'll track the finish date and all the stitches for 2020. And then I'll add these two columns and put the total stitches in. So that's how I'm tracking my stitching this year. Simple, simple. It's nothing extraordinary. It's nothing over the top. I'm just keeping it simple. This is very much how I tracked last year, so I like that. I like the way I did it, so I just stuck with that. So I hope this helps you, and I hope you were able to gain a little something from it, and I hope you enjoy your stitching and your counting if you decide to do that. So until I see you again, happy stitching.